Good day, students. Glad to meet you after a brief lull. Tips, techniques in pathology for students, mainly postgraduates. And we shall be continuing with our venture on section cutting. In the early class, I had shown you an outline of microtomes. In this class, we shall be concentrating on section cutting itself, and it doesn't need an introduction to say that this is part of your examination. The first step is cutting paraffin wax embedded block, and of which trimming the block is the foremost step. Look at this picture. There is a wooden chuck. Earlier we used to have this, and to this the paraffin block will be fixed. Nowadays you have got capsules in which it can be done, or embedding rings. The block should not be too high. The wax must be removed with a sharp knife, and it should be about 1/8 of an inch on all sides. The edges should be parallel. Ribbon sections should be feasible. This kind of it is not needed in tissue capsules. And this is the way. After embedding the tissue in wax, what we do is we heat a part of it with a blade or a knife. And then using that itself, we put the label of the tissue that gets buried inside, and it is a permanent mark. That is the way it is being marked. And when the block is to be fixed to the microtome, there are some holders. So this is a block holder. This also can be a block holder which holds on to the wax block. This itself can be attached to the microtome. And these are the steps that I mentioned. You heat the flat of a knife in a Bunsen burner, and then it is applied to the underside of the block. As a result of which, the melted wax is sufficient to adhere to the block holders. And if this is going to be the block holder and this is the block, you find this is the method. Whether it is in a case of a wax capsule or a wooden chunk, this is the way it should be done. The mistake in this picture is the wax block itself is too long. As a result of which there will be too much of vibration. Sometimes the block can come off the holder. So this is wrong. This is what I said. You heat a knife and then you melt the excess of wax. A quick recapitulation of what we had earlier seen. Now this is a machine in which you have got a wax dispenser. The wax is melted and it gets collected in a container like this. Initially the tissue is warmed in a tissue warmer, and then you find that the wax is melted, it is accumulated in this. And with the help of another forceps, the tissue is embedded. It is kept onto a cold plate where it becomes solidified. So this is a tissue capsule which has been subject to processing, and the tissue is removed. It can be embedded in wax. It can be in this form ultimately. So this is a recapitulation which you people should know. Tissue warmer, dispenser, cold plate, capsules, and this is the paraffin block holder. What are the various cutting techniques? The block holder must be clear of the knife. In the sense, it should not be close to the knife and adjustments must not be made. Otherwise, we will pay the penalty by cutting our fingers. And you will have to turn back enough so that it is well away from the knife. You will have to fix the appropriate knife. So some technicians use a different knife for coarse cutting, and fine cutting they use yet another knife. Then move the knife holder so that the knife just touches the block holder. All the screws should be fixed properly. These steps I will be telling you. So kindly memorize this one, which is needed. During trimming of the unwanted wax, the thickness can be around 15 microns. But later on, when you are sectioning, it can be 4 to 5 microns. Sometimes for other purposes, even 2 to 3 microns have been fixed. And when it is overheated, you will have to apply ice, continue with the sectioning. Look at this one. So this is a knife holder. There is a screw for that. This is a knife itself. There is a screw again for it, and another one that prevents vibrations. And as the sections are being cut, it is collected over this, as in this picture. So it is the knife that is fixed. The block holder, it moves up and down in a rotary microtome, and the sections are being cut. And as it is being cut, there is some amount of heat that is being generated, as a result of which the sections get adhered to each other, and these are called ribbon sections. Usually, the right hand is used for the fine adjustment. I'll be showing you a picture of it, and the left hand for the coarse adjustment. Sometimes it can be automated also within the machine, and it can be set. And you find that you'll have to move it backwards so that it moves away from the knife. Serial sections are due to the heat, and it can be as long as 12 inches. And they are then transferred to the water bath. They are collected against a black paper. See this over here. So you are able to easily decipher the sections that are being cut. And they are then transferred onto a water bath. The section cutting over here, but the purpose of this is something else. So the block is over here, there is a tube, block holder and the tissue. The knife is fixed, the block holder moves up and down and the sections are being cut. Now the angle should be perfectly maintained. It should be perfectly maintained, it should not be vertical, so that you find that the sections will not be proper, or it should not be too obtuse, as a result of which you get very thick sections. This is an angle called the wedge angle. Wedge angle is between the sides. And then towards the end, there is a tapering, and this particular angle is called the bevel angle. So there is a wedge angle, there is a bevel angle. So the block holder and the block. This we had seen earlier. You find that the wax must not be too long, and it has to be melted so that it is adjusted to this particular length. And always remember that the block holder moves up and down, as a result of which you should not make any adjustments once it starts moving. Otherwise, we pay the penalty by using our fingers. And these are the ribbon sections which I mentioned. And what are the uses of the ribbon sections? Sometimes you find that there is a doubtful pathology. For example, a metastasis, or a tumor embolus, or a miliary tuberculosis, a granuloma. If you are doubtful about one and you feel that it will be in the underlying sections, ribbon sections are of utmost use to study the serial development of the lesion. And this is a hot plate we have been talking about. It should be about 5 to 6 degrees less than the melting point of wax. And there is a water bath, another one is over here. These are all the regulators for the temperature. So you will have to adjust the temperature. It has to be about 4 to 5 degrees less than the melting point of wax. It is black in color so that when the tissues are floated, they can be visualized very quickly. And the warmth is helping in the unfurling of the sections when they roll. And also the floaters can be identified. They should be removed with a needle. All the points are given in this particular screen. Kindly go through it. In the hot plate, there are varying temperatures, but usually I prefer about 50 to 55 degrees, whereas about 57 to 60 will be the melting point of wax. It should be 4 to 5 degrees less than that. And this is another slide which we use, made up of polyester, in which the wax gets adhered very quickly. If there is any kind of crease or crumbling, that can be removed with a needle. And all the floaters are also have to be removed. Otherwise, you'll be finding malignancy in an appendicitis. Earlier, we used to use albuminized slice. Egg albumin used to be used for adhering the sections. It is then kept at a temperature of 37 degrees in an incubator. So finally, our aim is to have beautiful sections which give us the best of the diagnostic information without any technical hazard. There is another instrument called the cryostat, which we all know. This is an outline of it, and this is called the panel of it. All of you are very familiar. I need not go into the details. This is called the control panel, and there is an LCD display which gives the temperature, etc. And what is required, you people will be able to set in this panel. For example, the thickness, what is the angle that is needed. You will not be having a coarse adjustment on this side, which you use in a rotary microtome. You have got only a fine adjustment. And after all the adjustments in the complete control panel, you find only section cutting is left. There is a sliding glass cover over here. This is a hand wheel. Briefly, I used to call it a refrigerated microtome. This is a cryostat, which has got a low temperature, the power, and other things. Basically, it is a refrigerated unit of a microtome. Look at the adjustments over here. And this black knob is called the Now, this is the next slide of the cryostat. This is an actual cryostat, and I hope you people will be able to recall the parts of it. Let me help you. So this is the fine adjustment. Actually, this you see in a rotary microtome also. So this is a glass cover or a perspex cover that covers the working area. Here we have got the control panel, which you can adjust the thickness of the slide, angle of the knife, etc. And this is for the temperature. In this working table, I am able to find a block holder with a tissue. And there is a knife over here with an anti-roll plate. It prevents the rolling of the tissue. Then what are these buttons that I am seeing over here? This is called the quick freeze stage. After all, it is a frozen section that you people are cutting. When the tissue is kept here, it immediately undergoes freezing, as a result of which it gets solidified and also provides a mechanical support for it to get attached, and you will be able to do the section cutting. So these are the parts, please remember. Block holder, and then the tissue, anti-roll plate with the knife, quick freeze stage. And what are the uses of the cryostat? These are the uses, kindly go through. Rapid diagnosis when the patient is on the table. Demonstration of fat, you all know. Enzyme histochemistry, it is given in your books. It is not immunohistochemistry, it is enzyme histochemistry. Many of the enzymes are destroyed during normal processing. In order to circumvent it, you can do a frozen section. And tetracycline labeling is another use of it. These are the uses of a cryostat. Same thing I mentioned over here. So this is a block holder. There is a block of tissue in frozen ice. There is a rotary microtome that is there. And this is the anti-roll plate. The gray colored one is anti-roll plate. This is the tissue shelf in which we have got the quick freeze stage. This is analogous to the freezing microtome that was used almost a century back. In this, carbon dioxide is used and it is released from the cylinder. This is a block holder. The knife moves in an arc-like manner. and that is used for cutting the sections. This is a freezing microtome. But then today, you should know about the cryostat. Please compare and contrast. And coming to the microtome knife and blade. I do not know whether you people will be able to see a microtome knife nowadays. Blade is what we use, but this is a knife. So these are the parts of the knife. This is the knife as such, and this rolled structure is called the back of the knife. Back of the knife, in which I am able to find the toe of the knife, and then this is the back, and this is the heel of the knife. This is a knife itself. This can be attached by means of a screw, and this is the handle. This is an adjustment for the screw. This is what we people use. Normally during section cutting, the handle is removed and this knife is fixed onto the microtome. The purpose of the handle, the back is to maintain a specific kind of an angle for each knife. For each knife, there will be a back. And what are the different types of knife? Look at this one. It is plano concave. Concave means caved in. So on one side it is flat, on other side it is caved in. Plano concave. Sometimes it is biconcave. Both areas or both surfaces are caved in. Sometimes it is wedge shaped, almost like a chisel. It is wedge shaped. And sometimes again like a chisel, this is called the bevel angle and this is called the wedge angle. These things you people should know. What are the other angles over here? When compared with the flat, you find that there is a rake angle and there is a bevel angle between the two surfaces of the knife. The clearance angle is the angle between the knife and the perpendicular line. So these angles of the knife, they will definitely ask you in the exam. What are the different types of knives? What are the angles of the knife? The same thing over here. So the rake angle from the surface and the knife. The bevel angle is what is that between the cutting surfaces of the knife. And the clearance angle is the angle between the knife and the tissue block. And this is what we people see. They are all the various screws that are used for adjustment. For example, this one thing, it is used to tighten the block holder and are used to tighten the knife. And this itself, it is a stage like thing. I can move it front or back. Now it is a holder. See what is happening actually. The blade is fixed. And as I mentioned earlier, when you move the microtome, it is the block holder that comes down. It comes down as a result of which the section is being cut over here in two. And then you withdraw it. The block holder, it goes up as a result of which there is a knife and the section is delivered. This is then transferred onto the water bath. So the block holder moves up and down, the blade is fixed, and then the sections are being cut. And on further withdrawal, you find that the section is attached to the knife itself. It comes off. Sometimes you can get ribbon sections, as in this case. And they are all delivered to the water bath, from which you take the tissue after removing the creases. So this is another one, angle of clearance. This I can repeat any number of times. This is called the wedge angle and this is called the rake angle. Rake angle is between the surface and this. This is of course now what we use. Disposable blades made up of steel and an alloy of it. So this is used for section cutting. Be very careful with this also, extremely sharp and dangerous. Now, what are the faults in section cutting, paraffin cutting? When the sections are vertically cut, that is in a rectangular section, I find that there is a line across. That is because the knife edge is damaged or there is some dirt particle that is there which is splitting the section. The sections are curled up because the knife is blunt. or the tilt is too great. You get alternate thin and thick sections because the screws are not tightened properly. The tissue is hard or the tilt is too great. The tissues crumble because of a blunt knife or a soft wax. And sometimes the wax can be contaminated with crystals. Ribbon sections are again curved because the block edges are not parallel. That is why we should make sure that the block edges are parallel. And the breadth of the section is less than that of the block. That is because of compression or honing is required. What is this? We will know. But what I require you people to do is just by heart this particular list. This is required. What are all the faults in section cutting will definitely be asked and how you will rectify them. So this is an automatic knife sharpener. Coming back to a conventional knife, you find that it, like a gramophone record, you find that this keeps moving, the knife is there. After some time, it turns the other way and the other edge also gets sharpened. So this is the back of the knife I have been talking about. This is a knife. And after sharpening and use, etc., it is kept very carefully in a knife box. These are the two steps, honing and stropping. Stropping is done by means of leather. Honing is the most important one. We use two surfaces for it. One is called the Belgian glass or fine, and the other one is carborundum or coarse. There are two surfaces. We will be using both the surfaces. And look at the thing. It is moved diagonally, and then on the back of it, we move to the other side. Again, turn it back. This is called a figure of 8 method of sharpening. And the sharpening powder that we use, aluminum oxide. Belgian glass is used because it is supposed to be fine. And can you people tell me why the knife sharpener is so narrow? That is because you cannot get a flat and a large glass. In order to avoid that only, we have got a narrow strip, but to make proper use of it, a figure of 8 method is being used. And even after you sharpen, you find that there can be some dirt particles can be stuck onto it, which you remove by means of stropping. In this, you'll have to move the knife in a reverse direction. Here, the sharpened surface is against the knife sharpener, whereas here, it follows. This is a classical figure of 8 method of sharpening. Look at this one. This is the back of the knife for a particular angle. I move and then it is turned on the back. Again, I bring it forward. A figure of 8 method of sharpening. You'll have to explain the procedure. And how do you check the sharpness of the knife? You can do it under the microscope. In a world of automation, the examiner's question is on what we have never seen. That is what is going to happen. So dear students, please be very careful. If you are not going to be asked questions on tissue processing, if you are not going to be asked questions on microtome, if you are not going to be asked questions on knife, then there are no questions for you. You will have to be prepared for questions on NASA. So maybe such questions you people will have to answer. So let us stick on to the conventional ones, good or bad, until we pass our MD pathology. In spite of such good sectioning, there can be artifacts. Artifacts are something that are being created. It can be good, it can be bad. Look at this one, a section that has been cut, but I find that there is a mark over here. This can happen when there is going to be a particle or something, or the knife itself, it has got a defect in this particular region. So there is a tear in the section. The same thing has happened over here. So multiple things can be seen. And this can happen in a case of a vibrating knife. So the knife holder, it has to be properly fixed. And sometimes we get what is called as zebra lines. That is why I showed you the picture. What are zebra lines? You get alternate dark and light lines. It can happen in hard tissues, or sometimes when the knife is loose, you'll be getting the zebra lines. Look at these ones. Very common that we get sections like this. Either the knife is not sharp, or the wax is too hard, or sometimes you find that the knife holder is loose. These are obviously called the zebra lines. And there can be wrinkles, something like what we see in a colloid goiter. This can be happen because of uneven stitching. And particularly at a plane of attachment between the epidermis and the dermis, we find as though a bulla or a vesicle is being created. These are all some artifacts which you'll have to look for, and if your sections are free of them, then they are excellent. Again, a section which has got alternate dark and light staining. This can be because of uneven deparaffinizing. And there can be uneven staining. Look at this one. This area appears to have taken some stain. Here it is totally absence of stain. There is uneven staining because of deparaffinizing. If you move the fine adjustment of your microscope, you can make this out. So what all should we remember? What is a microtome? A knife. What are the parts of the knife? The block. And how do you prepare a block? How do you sharpen the knife? What is scoping? What is honing? And what are ribbon sections? What is a cryostat? The parts of a cryostat, the uses of a cryostat, what are the various artifacts in section cutting, and how you can get rid of them. Thank you.